Expecting to do another video today, but fate, destiny played its part. And I mentioned in the last couple of videos how my Harbor Freight, you can go back and look at some of my old videos, made these tongs, bought 2 long reach pliers for $10 in a package deal at Harbor Freight, and the one broke a long time ago. I made bolt tongs out of one, and then this little flat, boy, I have used this tong so much, and I've broken and welded and broken and welded, and that's it. This thing finally gave up, and I'm not gonna weld it back together anymore. It's sad. Maybe I'll reuse the reins, who knows, but it's time to make a set of tongs. Very lightweight, we're looking at what, 16, 18 inches long here, thin. I need enough meat so I don't break them again. I did put a little bit of a round, can you see it? There it is. Yeah. All right, just about to help hold some round stock. I'll use this for thin stuff, and I'd use that flowers and leaves and wings and who knows. So I use these a lot. So let's go ahead and have Chandler try out yet one more set of tongs. I'm not a pro at it, and I don't even try to be. I just kind of go at it and see what I end up with, and then one day we'll get it down to a science. So it's just a set of 3-inch long flat tongs, maybe with inset for round stock. See how it goes. Typically like to use rebar for tongs, but we'll use that today because that's what a lot of you guys do, and we'll learn together on this. I've made a few tongs, but nothing. Well, some of them actually aren't too bad, but it's not a science yet. 1/2-inch rebar I think should be enough. We're making some lightweight tongs. To make anything with any weight, you probably want to go thicker than this. 1/2-inch round stock would work fine, but since a lot of people can get a hold of rebar relatively inexpensively, we're going to start with that and see what we can do about making ourselves a set of tongs. I made with these box jaws for handling 1/2-inch square. It turned out to be a nightmare with the riveting. I got yelled at quite a bit, or asked quite a bit why I didn't bother to measure anything as far as the boss and all that kind of stuff. And the answer is because I'm making these suckers right now, and I don't know what. I'm okay. I'm going to do it by eye, and then when I figure out how to do it, we're going to have it down pat. So I want a good 3-inch nose on this, so I'm just going to drop this halfway right now. We'll clean it up later, okay? The reason I don't like the rebar is you got all the rebar marks and stuff like that, but anyway. So there's my jaw, and again, I go halfway or whatever that steel is telling me to do. Come over, roll at 90, drop your boss, come over, roll at 90, raise your boss. So that's kind of how I do it, and we'll just walk through it again. I know I'm not doing it right, but watch this. Brian Brazil, and there's hundreds of how to do it the right way, but you spend all that time doing it the right way, and things mess up. You're better off winging it 12 times, getting it down so you know how to move the steel where it belongs, and then go ahead and be perfectionist on it. Okay, so we got this heated up again. Still recording. So again, we were here. I'm going to come over here, rotate 90, and we're going to drop that down halfway or so. Okay. Kind of see what's going on here already. This little doohickey in here I already know I don't like. So you find a good angle and you come back and drop it there. That takes that doohickey out for you. That's going to save you a little bit of time and cleanup. But again, I'm not that good at it yet, so I'm not extremely worried about putting those fancy tricks in yet. Okay? Alright, so there we go. Here, 90 degrees, over, we're going to do one more 90, and then bring that boss back up. I'll tell you, they're not hard in concept. Once you get them down pat, just 90, 90, 90. Now, to get them perfect, then you're going to take measurements, you're going to make sure everything's lined up, clean your edges, you're not going to use rebar, because there's too many, there's too many ways that they can bind anyway. So using rebar with all those ribs around it, unless you get rid of those first, you're just asking yourself for a little bit of extra work or headache, I don't care. We're going to make some quick tongs here. So here we are. Again, we were here, rotate 90, drop, rotate 90, and then whatever I think I need for that boss, which I'm going with about an inch. And this is where I don't measure and everybody yells at me, but that's okay. I'm going to do it that way anyway. And there we have it. Just pull a little bit of rein back. I might just weld some reins on when we get done. Clean that up. Doesn't look horrible, guys. Doesn't look great. But the first time that you get this far and you say, holy crap, I actually see a jaw tong, or a jaw for a set of tongs there. It's going to make you proud. You're going to keep going and you're going to keep getting better and better at it. Okay. So I don't know if I like that rebar stuff out there at the end, but for now let's go ahead and just leave this. I'm going to flip it around and do the same thing on the other side. I'll be back. I hope you didn't break anything. Next one, you're going to do the exact same thing. So again, that's where I want my jaw to be. I'm going to hold it back just a little. Drop that sucker down. Halfway. Clean that up a little later. Again, there, and then we come over and drop again. I'll grab some heat. Wasn't quite as deep as I wanted to be. Same exact process for both parts of the tong, both jaws. So you don't have to remember, just learn that. Down, 90, down, 90, down. Maybe I should make a blacksmithing song. Down, rotate 90, or at least the same direction did last time. Down. For that boss. Try to make it about the same size as we did. Again, you can come in here and you can clean up that little doohickey there. Once you know how to do it, which I haven't totally figured out yet. Same thing with this doohickey. We can make that little spot in there. We want nice and clean. But there we have it, and I think we're looking pretty close to the same size as that other boss. So now we'll drop it one more time. We're going to drop, let's see, we're here, 90 there, 90, drop it one more time. Try to get that. That boss is pretty critical as far as size goes to match the other one. Okay. Mountain with the step. Stuff. And again, you want to see it done right, watch somebody that does it, measuring every step of the way. Alright? These are some pretty ugly looking steps. So hopefully we're pretty close to comparable in size. I'm going to go ahead. God, I don't want to draw these things out, but I will. So I'll nip this right in half. And then we'll draw the tangs out. It's only ½ inch, so I was going to weld reins on it, but let me cut it in half. I'll be back. I'm just going to clean up these reins, kind of flatten them off a little bit. Again, this thickness in here, if you study, you got to be very careful, because if they're too thick, or they'll run into each other. There's critical dimensions here, but let's get a set of tongs that works first, and then we'll worry about that. First thing we're going to do is stretch these out. I'll show you one time through, and then I'll do the rest without it. Just to stretch these things out, just gonna fuller it over the edge of the anvil, both directions, just to help expedite this a little bit. Fuller those fullers. Horn, over the horn, whatever it is that you do to move steel quickly, do it. Are you getting any fatter? So we'll do what we got to do. You get the idea, right? I want to thin this out a little bit, but I want to go to a taper in both directions. What I'm after. A little bit longer here, and then I'll save you the headache of seeing how it happens. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with how it looks. Just going to soften these edges. A lot of this stuff you can do with a grinder, but if you got yourself a little black heat right now, why not do it this way? Alright, so we're well on our way. I'll finish this up. I'll finish both of them up and then I'll be back. Here you have them. I drew them out so they're about the same length. Whoa, line them up. Alright, so we'll nip those off once we are committed. That should give me a tong that's just about the same length as these were, and I really like these tongs. Rounded off the reins a little bit. This is pretty rough forging right now, but you can kind of see what's going to happen here if we did everything right. These two are going to come right together like this, and everybody will be happy. Okay, but if you see, this is where all the fine tuning and good forging at the beginning comes into play. There's a bit of a burr here. All right, you could have forged that out, or I can grind it out now. We got to make sure this step, look at the difference here. This step and that step are not at all the same width. Matter of fact, the jaws aren't even the same width. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to clean this up on the anvil right now because I'm pretty embarrassed at how that looks. And although we can use the grinder, let's just, every time you do something, do one step better. One thing. Let's go ahead and just do it the right way in this one thing, even if we're really rushing through something else, because we need to practice. So doing 1,000 tongs poorly is probably as good as getting one done meticulously and not, having so many different things that you did, you don't recall the 100 different ways that things could go wrong. You get the idea. So I'll be back. So let's just see what we can do about cleaning this thing up. So I got that burr there that I don't want. All right. First of all, I'm not dropped down enough. So let's get that done first. This burr I can take out right here at an angle. All right, and that's pretty much gone. And then we need wider. Let me get John's rounding hammer. We actually don't need it much longer, but we do want a little wider there. So this, again, this needs to be straight. That, just like that, is straight. We still got a little bit of a burr there. Again, if I had a clean edge, I might be able to take care of that. I don't have much for clean edges. It's okay. I don't mind, because I can fix it in just a couple of minutes, and I know what I've done wrong. So if that's the only thing I have left to fix sometime in the future, I'll be happy. So now if we put these guys together, they should line up a little better. All right, much better. But both of these boss areas need to be cleaned up. So I'm going to just go to the grinder, clean them up, and so that they fit in really cleanly, and nip off the ends of these. A little bit, again, these grooves right in here, the tighter you can get those, the better you're going to end up with your tongs. It still just isn't exactly where I want them to be, but we'll live with that. I think we'd be okay. And actually, just move this boss up a little bit. And then what I'm going to do, since these are such small bosses, I'm just going to drill a hole, something that I can put a 1/4 inch rivet in. I'm not going to try to punch that out normally. I would, but not today. I got other things to do. And then we'll dress up these jaws a little. Clean up kind of the way I want. I mean, as clean as they're going to be. I got to clean up the ends of these a little bit, but I have the rivet. Like I said, I drilled this one instead of punching it just because the boss is so small here. And then I just ground down a piece of round stock so that it fits nice and snug in there. A little bit of a head on that side. So we'll just heat this rivet. I don't know why I always do hot riveting, but that's what I'm going to do today. And that's the way it is. Uh-oh. The tongs I normally use to hold these rivets are the tongs that I'm making now. Isn't that funny? So we'll just heat this sucker up for a few seconds so I don't lose it. And we all know needs to have a little practice, but we'll see how we do today. I'd like to sit down and do 1,000 rivets at once. So we'll take this rivet, we're going to come in from the bottom here, go in through here, get these spread apart so that they fit nice and snug together. Oh, almost missed it. Almost got myself. Come on, get in there. Alright, we'll set that down. Now again, the key is, I got too much steel again. The key is, you want those things tight. Nothing wrong with that. My boss looks like crap, but we knew that was going to happen on account of the fact there's a little too much steel. Getting better. That's all that matters, right? So I'd say that's riveted together. Yep, they ain't moving. Okay. So there we go. It's a little better than my last job. We'll go ahead and loosen this up, and the way I do that is I bring that. I'm almost out of fire here. Hopefully we got enough to finish this project. I bring those jaws up to red hot and I quench it. Unfortunately I have no water to quench them. Let me find a solution to that. Got some of New York's finest snow out there. So we got these jaws heated up. I work them and then quench them. Hopefully it'll do the trick. It looks like it's doing just fine. Snow is not the best quench in the world. But there we go. So now we got jaws and rains that work just fine. It's just a function of tweaking up the other end. Again, with rebar, this quench that I just did could have hardened this. Sometimes rebar does have some carbon in it, so we're going back up to super hot before I start hammering on those jaws. Now I'll let that cool a little bit so I don't mess up my rivet too much. We'll get better at it, I guarantee. But we got working tongs now. Oops, I just did it again, didn't I? Tighten those up a little too much. So that's where I want my tongs open. So we need to go ahead and close all that off. I'm gonna, if you remember on this one, the tongs tapered a little bit, but they definitely got thin, right? Which I really use that a lot to slide in underneath things. I don't want this thickness at the end. Let's just fine tune those jaws, and I think we'll be pretty damn close to done. And it's not the worst looking set I've made. And again, it was just a quick, let's do it, and so far we're doing better than we did last time. Tweak these jaws down again. I'm bringing them together at the distance I want these to be open when I close them. So that's good. I'm down with that. We got a little booger there, but that's not bad. We can tighten those up. So now I'm going to heat them up. We'll just get these jaws cleaned up, stretched out the way I want them to be. Again, it might be best to do this on before they're together. I don't know, but this is what I chose to do today. So again, a bit of a taper there, and then we'll just open them up and we'll work one at a time and just get it tapered down the way I want. Want a little meat there, but I wouldn't mind a nice, pick something up off the floor and narrow point on it, kind of like that. Alright, so that one doesn't look too snabby at all. Alright, let's see how we fit together. We'll worry about that after we get it. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Let's get this other one drawn out. One. Let's see if we can get the same width and length. Again, I want to narrow on the end there. A little narrower. It doesn't help it in strength, but it does help pass. Oops, I dropped it down here. Well, darn near, it's the same length now too, which is good. I think if I go a little bit more back here, I think we'll be damn close enough. Kind of clean it up a little bit, get some decent edges on it with the black heat. Well, I'm not disappointed in that at all. Not in any way whatsoever. Nice long reaching tongue. Okay, and I think I think that's exactly what I wanted. I mean, we're trying to reproduce those. That rivet sucks, but hey, we're gonna get better at it for sure. All right, the last thing I want to do, if you remember, I did put a little bit of a round indentation in there, just so I can help hold and twist round stock. So we'll heat both of these jaws up again. Probably something like this. This is probably 5/16 or something. Not a half, not a quarter. I think this would be a good indentation. So we'll use that as our mandrel once this is heated. Find something shorter so I don't have so much overhang here, but I'm just going to slide these guys in. And again, I'm not looking for rounding tongs. Just bring these guys together. Just enough of an indentation so that it's got some say in the matter. Alright? And then we'll go back and fix our tongs a little. Alright? So just enough. Perfect. Alright? Just enough so that if I want to grab some round stock, we got a little room in there to do that. Alright? With a little bit of control. I'm going to go through it one more time. Just a little deeper, I think I'd lock it. Pressing that. I guess I grabbed the wrong end of that one. Which end's the hot end, you son of a gun. Oh, that's funny. Which end's the hot end? No, that's the hot end. Ow, 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 ow. Losing all my heat. This little shenanigans Chandler's doing. Anyway, what I was saying, I was a little worried about busting that rivet by hammering so hard on it, but we look like we're okay. Now we're going to go back and just tweak it all back to the way it was. Damn, that was hot. Mark the right end. Now let's just go ahead and clean these things up again. Hope I didn't stress that rivet too much. But we can re-rivet it if we have to, I guess. So I want these open about like that when they're closed. Get them centered. It's not too horrible. A lot of play in that rivet. We're just going to set that rivet again. I'm liking it. Get these guys lined up again. I'm liking it. I don't mind that little swoop in there because that gives me something to push on. Bring these jaws together a little tighter. We're a little crooked here. Let's straighten them up. I'm okay with that. I think that's not too snabby at all. We should be able to pick up this round stock like I wanted. Get over here. You know what I mean? I don't want to squeeze too hard. We're not totally cooled yet. Good size here as far as hand. And pretty much exactly what we're looking for. So I'll let these guys cool down and then I'll turn around and just taper off these ends since we're doing that much old school. And I think I'm going to be very pleased. These are going to be a little bit heavier than the ones we have. Hopefully they'll hold up. I'm not happy with the size of my rivet. It's a little bit on the dinky side, but again, I don't lift very, very heavy stuff with this. I'll be back when I have this cool. Let them cool for a while and then I quench them in the snow. I think we're going to be alright. So again, I'm just going to turn around. I could grind these, but let's put the time in and I'll just talk a little bit to you, a little bit. So again, this set of tongs, I'm pleased with them. I certainly wouldn't go start selling them, but that wasn't my objective. My objective number one is I needed to replace the tongs I use the most. All right, the old Harbor Freight things, man, I've been, what, 3 years now? 3 years, yeah, I had to patch them up a couple of times, but for 10 bucks, I got 2 tongs out of the deal. Definitely was worth that money. And since then I've made, I don't know, half a dozen tongs that I've needed. Each one I seem to be getting a little better at. If you remember, this is one of my first attempts, my railroad spike tongs, and out of rebar. And I use them still. They're a little lightweight on the jaw. Just watching my heat. Yeah, let's get this just so we're not embarrassed. Make sure that we're running relatively straight. Some of you guys like to put the little hooks on the end for your spring clips. What else we got? So you saw my box jaws. I mean, those are relatively recent. Everything worked well except the riveting, and of course I wasn't even concerned about dimensions. This set here has worked pretty well for me for a long time. I thought that was a weld, but it's not. It's just gook. And I use these for handling horseshoes. So, and then there's one more here I think that I made. Yeah, oh, two more actually. A couple of these that I use for handling flat. So again, I'm slowly getting to where I'm happy with how I'm making them. And oh, this one looks like it has broken. But this is the ugliest, disgusting joint in the world. That's pretty close to where I want to be next, is worrying about how that joint looks. And I think once I get that, which is again is going to take a little, I'm going to take more time, have my dimensions right, and that I think is all it's going to take. We're lined up pretty good. We'll let that cool for a second, and I'll come back and say goodbye. I'm glad I got my tongs back. Just showing off. If you were to tell me 3 years ago when I started this thing, is it 3 years? 4 years ago, I guess, that I'd have tongs that look like that, I'd say, I hope I have tongs that look better, but I'm still pleased. All right, this one turned out really nice today. Ribbit. But there they are. These are the ones that I made. I don't know if I'll put this in the video, but Chandler be bragging. Another 100 or so. Maybe I'll have the right tongue for the job sometime. And I wasn't going to hit you with another video today, but I broke the tongs I use the most, and I need a new set. So I call these like needle nose tongs. Very fine grip for lightweight stuff, thin things, leaves and stuff like that. Works beautifully. Put a little bit of a, just a indentation in there to help orient, securely hold some round stock. A little spring in the handle, which is the rebar, helps. My boss, again, that's what's my weakness. All right, I still have a little bit of geometry on jaws for the jaws, but they're not horrible. My weakness right now is that boss, and all that is the right amount of steel, first of all, and secondly, dimensions. All right, so next set of tongs, we're gonna have to really test ourselves, but these will work great. There we go. Some needle nose tongs. I needed them because mine broke. Thank you for your support. Hope you enjoyed this one. And let's get better together. Go out and make a set, even if it's ugly. Just do it. See how it turns out. What are your mistakes? Riveting, boss. That's where Chandler is. And then fine tuning it a little bit. Take care. If you found this video helpful, educational, maybe even if you just found it entertaining, and you want to support me, you can jump back to my channel. There's a button on the right hand side of the screen called support, and it's kind of like a tip jar. You can go ahead and leave Chandler a tip for this video, and that'll help me make some more, I guarantee. Thanks for your support as always.